Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome back. This is the second episode of my video podcast, and in this second episode, I'm going to discuss the second chapter of our textbook, and we're going to talk about press equipment and layout in a presentation. Now, before we begin, I'd like you to listen to recorded audio of a presentation. Please read the script in the video while you listen to the audio recording.
Audio
Audio
2.2.
2.2.
Presentation
Presentation
A.
A.
Jose can't make it today, so let's get started. As you know, we have to cut costs by 15%. And I've got to make a proposal to the board by the end of next week. I wanted to get some of your reactions to my initial ideas. You don't need to take notes. I've got some handouts that show various figures. Please, could you pass around these copies? There should be enough for everyone. There aren't many of us. Thanks. I'll use the flip chart to record your comments. Right. Let's look at our current overheads. As you can see on the first sheet, the rent on our offices here in Madrid has increased slightly in the last year. But at about 20% of our outlay, I think that's manageable. And the location we have is ideal. I wouldn't want to change that. Utility costs and insurance have also increased slightly, but there's not a lot of room for making any savings there. However, staff costs exceed 60% of our total expenditure, and I think this is the area we should be looking at. If you look at the second handout, you can see that by restructuring our complaints department and merging that with our help desk to create a new customer services department, we could save 500,000 euros each year. I believe that by locating the two teams in the same office, they would be able to support one another, and as a result, we would not need so many staff. So that's my proposal. What do you think?
Well, you have completed listening to the presentation by a business manager, and he was talking about the cost of renting space for office. Now, based on what you have listened, you can feel that the presenter does not only present using text, but he also use other equipments. Probably he is using PowerPoint slideshow, but that won't be just the audience do not only look at the PowerPoint because they also use handouts. So the presenter does his presentation using software and also handouts. And that's the common side that we generally see in presentation. Sometimes there are handouts, sometimes there is no handouts. But when you do presentation with handouts, you have to involve your audience so that whatever you are explaining in the slide, your audience can also follow your explanation. Now, talking about presentation equipment, there are many equipments that we can use as a presenter to deliver our message, to express our ideas. Traditionally, we use handouts. Even if you don't use PowerPoint presentation, you can still present your ideas, your opinions with handouts. This is the most traditional equipment for doing presentation. The next thing is, you probably don't see this one much, but in some offices, especially office of foreign companies, they still use this. This is what we call as flip chart. If you want to do quick presentation and you don't have time to prepare slideshow, you don't have time to prepare handouts, you can do presentation using flip chart. You just write your ideas in flip chart. You can use board markers. Mind you that flip chart is made of paper, so whatever you write is not erasable. You cannot erase if you make mistake in your writing. Still, this is the most common tool for doing presentation. Besides presenting your ideas, you can also use flip chart to record people's opinion, people's comment during discussion. So flip chart is a multi-purpose tool for presenting. You can jot down your ideas, but you can also write down other people's ideas. Are you still familiar with that equipment? Well, I guess some of you are still familiar. This is what we call as OHP, or overhead projector. So the acronym is OHP. Indonesians usually call it OHP. Now this is the single most widely used presentation tool in Europe, in America, in Asia, even when people are still unfamiliar with computer and PowerPoint slideshow. Now to use this presentation tool, you will need special paper. You will need transparent plastic. So you present your ideas by writing your thoughts, your opinions, your message on a transparent plastic, and then you put the plastic on board of the OHP, and the projector will display whatever that you have written on the plastic. Now the problem with OHP that it's bulky, it's heavy, it's big, and it's not portable. Even when there are portable OHP, it is still cumbersome. It's not that easy to travel with OHP. Another traditional tool for presentation is a simple whiteboard. A simple good old whiteboard. Just bring your marker, write down your ideas, the message that you want to present. Now with the technology advancement, a whiteboard is not just a whiteboard. You can also use whiteboard as an interactive whiteboard, which means you can display an image on the whiteboard, and you don't even need a projector. So this is what we call as interactive whiteboard. The whiteboard is writable. You can write on it with marker. On the other hand, the whiteboard can also project image or video from your computer, from your laptop. Another tool for doing presentation, now this is usually useful if you use large screen, that is pointer. So you can use pointer to help your audience to pay attention to the specific point in your presentation. If you display a map, if you display a picture, you can direct your students, your audience attention to a point in the map or in the picture, so they will concentrate their attention to that point. But again, with the advancement of technology, this is the typical room setting for presentation in modern world. Bring your laptop, the LCD is already in place, and you just connect your laptop to the LCD projector. Voila, that's the modern presentation. These are the tools that you use most often. And if you want to make your presentation easier, you may use remote presenter. So the benefit of using remote presenter is to help you in advancing the slides or moving the slide backward. You don't need to use mouse. And the plus point of this remote presenter, it is also equipped with laser pointer. So you can use the laser inside the remote presenter to point at a specific area on the screen where your audience has to pay attention to. Now, modern presenter often use remote presenter to make it easy because they don't have to carry the mouse. But even if you don't have remote presenter, you can also use mouse, but it has to be wireless mouse. So those are the equipments that presenters use when they're doing presentation. Next thing is handouts. We use handouts if we want to help the audience understand or get more details in our presentation, because slideshow is not enough to, you cannot put all the details in the slideshow. You have to put the details somewhere else. For that, you will need handouts. Now, there are elements of handouts that you have to know and understand. First, every handout must have a title. What is the title of your presentation? Put it there. And then your topic probably has to be broken down into several subtopics. So you will have subtitles. After subtitles, there will be body text. And to make your handout more interesting, you will need to insert picture. Probably you will need more than one picture to give visualization to your handout. And lastly, don't forget to put your name under the handout, because your audience need to know who create these handouts. So that's the elements of handouts: title, subtitle, body text, visuals, and lastly, information about the person who creates the handouts. Then, slideshow. Slideshow is simpler than handouts. It doesn't have too many elements. For a start, we have title. Now, after title, text bullets. This is optional. You may use text bullets. You may also not use text bullets. Just make sure that you don't put a paragraph, because slideshow is not meant to make people read. Instead, slideshow is for you, the presenter, to deliver message. So limit the number of sentences in one slide. After that, you can also add visual to help your audience understand more about your presentation. And the visuals can also help in visualizing the information in your slide. So let's talk about phrases, vocabularies, expressions that you can use when you are doing presentation with presentation equipments. Now you have handouts. How do you tell that to your audience? Well, you can start by saying, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to take notes. I've got some handouts. Please pass around these copies. Could you pass around these handouts? There should be enough for everyone. So these are the phrases that you can use when you do your presentation with handouts. Now let's practice the expressions with me. You don't need to take notes. I've got some handouts. Please pass around these copies. Could you pass around these handouts? There should be enough for everyone. Other useful phrases: when you deliver your presentation with more than one slide, you will need some key vocabularies, such as if you are talking with the first slide. You may say, as you can see on the first slide, our hotel is suffering from the hurricane attack last month. Or if you want to guide your audience in reading the handouts, you may say, if you look at the second page, you can see a table of our department's expenditure this month. Then, if you put a chart in the handout or in the slideshow, you can guide your audience to understand the chart by saying, as we can see, this chart shows that this company's profit is declining. So those are the phrases that you can use to guide your audience in understanding the information you put in the handout, on slide, or any other visual aid you use. Let's practice the expressions together. As you can see on the first slide, our hotel is suffering from the hurricane attack last month. If you look at the second page, you can see a table of our department's expenditure this month. As we can see, this chart shows that this company's profit is declining. This graph shows that the total purchase in 1 year. These bar charts compare I'm sorry. These bar charts compare this year's profit and the past one. From these figures, we can conclude that we need to reduce company's expense. This table shows the result of our promotion on TV. More vocabularies. In the next slide, you can see a proposal for new shift. From these figures, you can see that our business is losing customers. This video will show customers' opinions of our new product. I will play the audio record of employees' interview. These photos prove that there's problem in our product. So those are the vocabularies you can use when you deliver your presentation using slideshow, and you can use the vocabularies if you are using visual aids such as table, bar charts, graphs, so that you can help your audience understand your information. Making requests. Sometimes you will need to make requests in order to check if your audience can still follow you or to help your audience follow your explanation and presentation. If you want to make sure that everyone in the room can look at the presentation screen clearly, you may ask them to turn off the light. So you may use expressions such as, could someone switch off the light? Could someone switch off the light? Could someone dim the lights? Could someone dim the lights? If you want to check that everyone in the room can look at the projector screen, you may say, can you see at the back? Can you see at the back? And in case you need some help from the audience to set up your presentation tool, you may use requests such as, would someone help me with this projector? Would someone help me with this laptop? These are the vocabularies, expressions you may use to make requests, and they are really beneficial to use. Use them to make your audience feel involved. So by saying, can you see at the back? Or could you switch off the light? You make your audience as a part of your presentation, that they are not just there to watch you, but they are also part of you. So get your audience involved in your presentation. Now, talking about designing slideshow. In the textbook, you have the exercise. I took the exercise from the textbook and put it in the slide, and becomes like this. If you do presentation using this information, now one thing that you have to understand is, don't put too much information in one slide. If you can, make the information simple enough for everyone to understand. If it is simple enough for everyone to understand, then it will be simple for you to present. So this kind of slide is not good, because you have the information are actually enough for everyone. But the problem here, the text is too long. Now imagine if you are the audience and you look at slide like this, you will find that the slide is noisy. Noisy because there are too many information. Now, as a presenter, you have to find a better approach. It's instead of putting the text in the slide, what you have to do is to make the pie chart bigger. And it is your job as a presenter to deliver the text orally. So the text has to be deleted from the slide. Now this one is a better slide. So you just put a title and then pie chart. Car sale plus customer age. You have the information there. Where is the text? You don't need text. You are the presenter. You have to deliver the text. The title is already enough, so your audience can make connection from the title and the pie chart. The rest, you have to deliver the words by yourself. Another exercise that I use from the textbook, managing budget of project. Now, when you do presentation, make the content of your slide as simple as possible. So instead of putting long words, make the words shorter but easy for people to understand quickly. So managing budget of project. First, gather the data. Make estimation. Get approval from manager. Present the budget to client. This is a good slide because the information are simple. Simple for audience to read and simple for you to deliver. Now, do you still remember the opening formula of presentation? Yeah. Start with greeting, thank the audience, introduce speaker, explain purpose of presentation, and the last is body of presentation. So this is one formula that you always have to remember every time you do presentation. Whether you speak English or Indonesian or any other language, the formula has to be like this. Greet, thank the audience, introduce yourself, explain the purpose of the presentation, and present the body of your presentation. Let's find out if the formula is also used in the next recording. We are going to listen to another presentation recording. Listen and pay attention to the formula that the speaker used in his or her presentation. And also pay attention to the vocabularies and expressions that the speaker used to help the audience, to guide the audience in understanding the information that he or she delivers.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna Kovac, Head of Finance here at Paperworks.
As you know, we are under pressure from our shareholders to reduce overheads by 20%. And so I am here today to present the solution. I've prepared some slides to explain my proposal. Could someone please switch off the lights? Thank you. Can you see at the back?
Well, what do you think? Yeah, the formula is applied by the presenter. She starts by greeting, good morning, and then thanking the audience. Thank you for coming. And she introduces herself. My name is Anna Kovac. Explain her position, head of finance here at Paperworks. And she explains the purpose of her presentation. I'm here today to present the solution. Now, there are additional expressions here. Before she starts with the body of her presentation, she first makes sure that the audience can follow her presentation. She does that by saying, I have prepared some slideshow to explain my proposal. Could someone please switch off the lights? So this is a great way to make your audience a part of your presentation. You involve them. Making simple requests like this feel that the audience is not just there to watch, but also a part of presentation. And then, before you start with the body of presentation, first you have to make sure that everyone can look at the projector screen. So ask questions. Can you see at the back? Could you see at the back? After you make sure that everyone can look at the projector screen, then you may start your presentation like this.
The back? Firstly, this graph shows how our overheads have increased dramatically over the last 2 years. This is due to our merger with Printline PLC. Secondly, these pie charts compare the expenditure of Printline and Paperworks at the time of the merger. You can see how Printline's main expense was on leasing its premises. If you look at the next slide, you can see that by moving the remaining Printline staff here to our premises, we would not only save on renting the factory, but also on leasing the machinery. From these figures, you can see that we would save 20% on overheads.
Thank you for watching this video podcast on presentation skill course. Hopefully you get the benefit of watching this. If you still don't understand, please watch again from the beginning of the video and also read the textbook that we use. You may also use other information you can get from internet or other books on presentation. We'll meet again in the next episode of the second unit of the third chapter. See you again.